Hey, this is a special opportunity for hosts that are watching this presentation, our Pharmacy Podcast Network hosts, as well as some of our clients who are watching this presentation to really understand the evolution of our platform and our publication. It's been a long 16 years podcasting. The first podcast about the pharmacy profession came out on March 2nd of 2009. I ask you, please don't find it on YouTube because it's a horrible recording. It was my very first podcast I ever did, and it was all about our pharmacy technology platform in the realm of community pharmacy. We've come a long way in 16 years, and we've built a lot of strategic partnerships. One of those very critical partnerships for the evolution of the Pharmacy Podcast Network is with JB Consulting Group, led by Shaun Jensen. And we are going to go over the analytics metrics platform today, powering the Pharmacy Podcast Network's hosts over 40 different programs that we have on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. And you might say, as a podcaster, if you're listening, well, what's so special about this analytics platform? And what's most special to me is the fact that the Pharmacy Podcast Network puts out a master RSS feed. That's where our listeners get all of their content. They go to Apple, they go to Spotify, they go to Spreaker, and many other, there's, I think, 30 plus different podcast curators and platforms out there. And the Pharmacy Podcast also publishes an RSS feed that is for its specific client or a specific host. So imagine having to manage 40, 50, sometimes 60 different RSS feeds, depending on what series is going on, but then getting correct metrics on the master RSS feed where 100% of the content goes out on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. But then we also have the separated RSS feeds that our clients rely on, as well as our hosts rely on. I'd like to introduce JB Consulting's founder, Shaun Jensen. Shaun, it's so good to have you here today with us.
Hey, Todd. Great to be here as always. Great to see you.
I'd also like to introduce Summer Humphrey, who's the creative and the brains behind the platform. We're so excited to be working with you, Summer.
Thank you. Thanks, Todd.
All right, Shaun, we're going to kick it to you for just a quick overview of JB Consulting, and then just tell us a little bit about the focus that you have, especially like in specialty pharmacy.
Yeah, absolutely. So JB, we've been here for over 20 years. We've been helping specialty pharmacies, infusion centers, health plans, pharmaceuticals, all work together. Health tech companies that service those stakeholders, we help them, with integrations, custom software. We've been a trusted advisor and consultant. A lot of technology, road mapping, a lot of decisions that have to be made for the technology side, and we're always there to kind of help weigh it and decide what's best. Where they need help with the implementation of those roadmaps, we do that, and just a lot of data, AI, custom software, you name it. But we're really excited to have worked with this platform with you, Todd, and congratulations. Yeah, really excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Summer. It was so good meeting you through Shaun. I met Shaun at a specialty pharmacy conference. We started talking about the struggles that I was going through. Every month, I had to come up with a metrics report for all of our clients. I had to go find 2 RSS feeds. I had to add them up together on an Excel spreadsheet manually, and I had to be able to provide those metrics. Metrics are so important in the world of podcasting and marketing analytics. Summer, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you, Todd.
So tell us about your work with JB Consulting and also the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
So I work with JB Consulting as the BA. And again, like you said, we help, just other pharmacies and facilities basically help manage their data like this. So this was a really fun project for us, working with podcasts. So this was fun. This was different. And we're excited for you guys.
Thank you.
And one of the things, Todd, I was going to say, like when we met that night and we were talking, I think it was at Assembia. I'm pretty sure we were walking back, after a night probably at B Bar, the old B Bar, the original one. But we were talking. I mean, the stuff you were telling me that your team was doing and what you guys were doing each month, I knew there was a good opportunity for some automation, for some technology. And that's always fun because you see, people get to go back and do stuff. We tell that with pharmacies too. They get to go back and do what they came to go to pharmacy school for, to actually be a pharmacist. And, meeting with your team and seeing, what they could do with their time after, we automated it. That was great. But what was really, drew me to the project was, your vision for, how you want to bring in AI, all the other data sources, the social, how you're going to use this to really grow the audience and grow the profession. So, I mean, yeah, data and automation, that's always like a fun thing. That's what we kind of do all day. But, there was something about your vision for it that was also a lot of fun and, really intriguing. So I'm glad we got to bring this to life here.
Well, I appreciate you, Shaun. I appreciate you seeing that vision. And this is the first version of the live system that's out there that, once again, will be bringing in metrics from every podcasting platform throughout the world where our RSS feed is published. And then, once again, all of the separated feeds for our host and our clients are going to be rolling up into this system as well. And that's just an important part of metrics in general. We're going to actually turn the system on. We're going to turn things over to Summer. And between Summer and I, we're going to take you through the first version, the first vision of the metric system that will report all of the data through the Pharmacy Podcast Network. Summer, so first of all, one of the most important things that you helped us do was classify every single and identify every single podcast in our network, and then give us the master kind of like board where we can see everything at once. And that's important to us. Now, our users, our clients, our hosts won't see this. Can you take them through of what they're going to see in comparison to what we see as the total network?
Sure. So like you said, this is the overview page. I'll just click on any podcast here. So if we're looking at pharmacy future leaders, you guys will only see your logo here at the top, and then you'll see data specifically just for pharmacy future leaders. And actually, let me specifically hone in. We have a filter here at the top. So let's go to pharmacy future leaders and just select their data. So when they log in, they'll just see the download specifically to them.
Very good. This is important. So all of our hosts out there that are listening, that are watching this presentation, there's always been a struggle when I'm trying to serve our clients and I'm working on projects, I'm going to conferences. We have a small team of 3 people. To be able to do these metrics reports for our hosts is a struggle. Now they'll be able to log into the system. You'll be able to look up your own data. And then also, Summer, take them through some of the categories at the bottom of the page where they can start exploring specific episodes, the categories, geolocation, the platforms and apps that are actually connecting to the RSS feeds, and then, of course, our source feed tab.
Yep. Okay, so this was the overview, but moving forward to the episode statistics. So this kind of breaks it out more by each episode. So you'll see in this table, it shows the total downloads. And then we have here this kind of like the source feed. So this is the amount of downloads that specifically came from PPN. And then this is the count of downloads from the original source. So we broke that out. And then here you'll see the month over month and then the published date here. So this kind of allows you guys to hone in and get more data on each episode. At the top here is pretty straightforward. You have different a time frame, a date filter where you guys can change that. This is also just a date filter if you just want to see it over the year or quarter over quarter, month over month. You can see that. And then again here, podcast selection, episode selection, and then the source feed. Again, original versus PPN.
Hey, sorry, why don't we jump into PPN as the selected pharmacy? Let's
Sure.
kind of step through some of Todd's things here.
So many P's for pharmacy.
Yeah, right? Okay. Yeah, it's pharmacy podcast.
I just want to maybe jump out to the front page there again and then step into.
Yeah. There we go. Actually, yeah, this is it. Pharmacy podcast.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, a couple million downloads, not bad. Can we jump into the geo and some of the other? Oh yeah, these are the categories. Let's deselect the podcast for this. Yeah.
Cool. So this here is the category page, and basically this is just so shows you guys different views on how you can just see how the categories are broken out, and which ones are kind of doing the best here. We have business news, health and fitness. So these are all of the different podcast categories. And then here it's broken out by the count of downloads for each category. And then below here is just a table showing the trends. And you can see here that the business news is really dominating um, as far as category. So
Yeah,
Right.
I'd like to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
a comment to our hosts and our clients that are watching this presentation. Choosing your category is limited because the world of podcast is controlled by other organizations, so we don't get to choose your category. Pharmacy Podcast Network has chosen the business news section because we believe that the totality of all of our content rolled up together is in fact business news. We believe healthcare and pharmacy care is part of business news, and therefore that's why we've chose that category. However, if you want to change your category, if you want your podcasts, your specific RSS feed to show up in another category, what I'd like you to do is look at that category out on Podbean, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Check out their category. Sometimes a Spotify may have different categories available to identify your podcast in comparison to maybe Apple. But when you start seeing metrics like this, the Shaun and Summer are using data that's available to them through our data, which is being pulled through Podbean. So Podbean's giving us every possible data factor that's out there. But your categories are important, as you can see: science, health and fitness. With our, when I think of health and fitness, I think of our podcasts that are focused on functional pharmacy. But pick a category that you feel that your podcast is identifying you best.
nice.
That's a great point.
Yep.
What about geolocation?
Yes. So geolocation just allows you guys to see where your listeners are coming from. So we have it broken out global versus the United States. And you can see here on the left side, Alabama has 19,000 listeners. And this table here also allowed you to kind of hone in. I'm kind of zooming in here.
I mean, it's state level too. I was going to say at this point, the
Yeah.
data that we're getting is state level, so you're not going to be able to see
Mhm.
distributions across the state. But
Yeah.
over there on the right too, the global. I mean, that's really cool to see the reach, Todd, that you've had, and you've
Yep.
always said, this is people listen to this all over the world, not just in the U.S. And just to see how far around the world that is. I mean, look at all that. That's incredible reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want our pharmacists and pharmacy care providers and people in business and pharmacy to be reaching every facet of the world. And we are a global platform. We've had podcasters from New Zealand and from London, and that's expanding. We're going to be concentrating on another podcaster from London, one from Australia, one from the Middle East. So this is definitely positioned to give as much metrics as possible. Once again, that we're pulling from the Podbean hosting platform. So, what about platforms and apps, Summer?
Yep. So this slide is just breaking out the apps and again the applications the users are listening to, using to listen to the podcast. So we can see here that Apple Podcast is dominating this group here. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward. These are all the apps, and then we also have a pie chart here on the right.
It's amazing to see how many apps have come out. When I started in 2009, I think there were less than 20. Now there's hundreds, and some of the data isn't even showing up on the Podbean source because of how little downloads that they have. However, because of the popularity of podcasting and advertising, um, Apple's still dominating, but you can see Spotify is really coming up more. I hear a lot of people that like to listen through Spotify. We want your podcast to be accessible on any platform. So our team at the shop is always publishing our RSS feeds to new platforms. Therefore, if you find a platform that you can't find the Pharmacy Podcast Network on, please let us know, and we'll very much reach out to that publishing app and get it on there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the things we were so excited about with this whole project, Todd, is to just empower your hosts and empower, the people you're working with, so that not just free up your team, but really, get them the data, quickly, say real time, as real time as we can get it, maybe once a day, but certainly not monthly reports, and then be able to give them these kind of insights and help them grow their own reach and help the whole podcast network grow its reach collectively. So
Yep.
these are some of the tools that we built that we were really excited about. I should say most excited about, really.
We're excited too. The realm of podcasting as marketing, communications, public relations for our marketers out there is so very important. Data is what you live and die by. So we're going to be providing our clients and our hosts as much data as possible. If we're missing something, please let us know what that is. But our second and third versions will be worked on into 2026, 2027. And we're going to be coming up with something pretty dynamic. So I know that everyone's going to be impressed by the leverage of artificial intelligence and helping to source good podcasting content, specific podcasting content, especially if you're talking about something like hyperlipidemia, some blood disorder, or some treatment that is very novel, or some rare disease. Specialty pharmacy is where JB Consulting really started, but JB Consulting is really focused on all aspects of pharmacy care. And I would encourage you to reach out to the JB Consulting team based on today's presentation, and use your imaginations of what your pharmacy systems, what your pharmacy software may be missing, and how JB Consulting can help you. And I just want to kind of turn things over real quick to Summer. Summer, what's been some of the more favorite projects that you've been working on in 2025?
Oh, that's such a hard question. I don't know. I really enjoy, I don't like, all of our projects, but I really do like doing things like this, Power BI, make turning the data, to be more appealing, like visually,
Yep.
so you guys can, understand it. So this is probably one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, Summer's quickly become our in-house Power BI expert, and just so many customers are coming to us on the pharmacy side asking about,
Yeah.
we have this data, we send feeds to everyone, but like, what can we do with it? We don't do
Yeah.
anything with it. It seems like they're the last person to leverage their own data. So, the conversations are quickly getting into Power BI, and how do we see it, and how do we get in there and see our own insights? Like, canned reports are great, but our customers, like, they have data teams, they have operation people that really know what they're doing. So they're like, get us the data in our fingertips, let us play with it, let us figure out what's going on. And that's where Summer really shines, is working with them and helping them get what they need in their fingertips. So it's
Yeah.
been really fun to see.
All right. If you have any questions, if you're a host, if you're a client and you're watching this presentation and you'd like a follow-up, we can jump into a meeting with you, go through this platform with you, teach you about this platform, and just have you get more out of the Pharmacy Podcast Network as we expand, because that's exactly what's happening. We are bringing on 4 new podcasts just in this quarter into June and July. And we'll be building 3 new on top of that series that are going to be working with pharmaceutical manufacturers, technology providers, and organizations that are very specific to different sectors of pharmacy. But with that, I just want to say thank you to Shaun and to Summer for working so hard on this. It's gorgeous. It's a great platform. It's everything that we needed and wanted. And JB Consulting is an important member of our team and partner. And we can't wait to see our next version.
Oh, we appreciate that, Todd. Thanks so much, and congratulations again.
Yeah.
Thank